on edge.
We're terrified. Sales are down almost 30%. We don't know what the future holds.
The facts, the fears, and the frustrations.
Nobody forgets the name of the brand who didn't reimburse them, who didn't pay them back, the brand that didn't act properly.
Fox 5 and Dr. Oz teaming up to address your coronavirus concerns.
We live here, we care, and welcome to this very special edition of Good Day New York.
COVID-19, also known as the coronavirus, has spread quickly around the world, disrupting the very life that we're used to living. We know that we've got some questions from you about everything, and we have our own.
Oh, we do.
Many.
We brought in the doctor to help us this morning, Dr. Mehmet Oz. He's going to answer some of those questions. First of all, thank you so much for being here. How do you feel?
I feel healthy.
Okay. You know what a lot of people want to know, like, when is the end in sight? If the weather gets warmer, will this virus dissipate on its own?
We believe the virus will slow down. Part of the reason for that is the virus doesn't like humid weather. It plumps up. As it gets fat, it doesn't travel as far. So we're at a pretty good distance. Sorry, we're right at the border here.
Okay,
but
sorry.
But in warm weather,
Right.
you'd both be fine because the virus couldn't get to you.
So
plus, it won't live as long.
What's warm weather? Like, what temp do you think it would dissipate?
It's gradual. So the warmer the temperature, the better. The more humid, the better. And so there's no cutoff point beyond which we're safe. However, here's the big point. And New York City is one big experiment right now. If we get this right and we can slow down the spread of the virus, then that warm weather benefits us. But if it's everywhere already by the time the weather gets warm, it's too late. And that's what we're seeing in countries that have managed it poorly compared to ones that do a good job.
So we know, according to the mayor, he said that we are capable of handling it here in New York City. With 95 cases, 22 of them are hospitalized. Why is our science better here, or why is our capability better here in New York City to handle this when the mayor says we may have 1,000 cases next week?
Well, it's a combination of reasons why we can manage it. The first is we're going to slow down the growth. The seemingly draconian measures that New York City has adopted, and we've been a little bit ahead of the curve on most of this. No public gatherings more than 500 people, as the governor pointed out. The city began to create social distancing rules, alerting folks in New York to just be proactive. We work together. New Yorkers are can-do people. So we just had to get out there and make sure changes happen. The studios started shutting down audiences like mine and Wendy. We don't have groups there. I did Fallon last night. No audience for the first time. And that's a big step, but it was a clear dictum. We need to own this. The foot soldiers need to be fighting this battle. We can't just wait for the generals to look up and say, hey, let's go this way or that way.
But that's great, and it's draconian. And for those of us who are native New Yorkers, this is like a horror movie. Yeah. We never expected something like this to happen in our city. But there are lots of people tweeting Lori and I this morning. It's trending on Twitter, shut New York City schools. They say, you know, we know kids carry viruses. You're talking about hundreds of thousands of kids who go into New York City schools. Teachers are on the front line. Many of them are not happy. What can we do?
I love teachers. I have a foundation, Health Corps, that you both know about, that we go into the school system in New York City. We started here.
Yeah.
I would not shut the schools down.
Why?
Because I love the importance of schools and respect the importance of schools. And when you shut the schools down, a couple things happen. First of all, the nurses who have to go to the hospital to take care of the patients, they can't go because their kids are home, right? The orderly, the people are going to clean up the hospital the floors, the folks cleaning the MTA, they can't do their job because their kids are home. More importantly, the kids who are at school are an issue. I get it. They may get the virus. They're not going to die from it. We have 0 deaths in kids below the age of 10 worldwide. And when they go home, as Lou Leone, your GM, was telling me, a woman came in and said, when the kids come home from school, they just go to the same daycare facility. They're still all together. It's not like we're isolating them from each other. Right. They're just going to be together in different places outside of school. And finally, it's the safest place for kids to be, and it's the best meal they're going to get in a day a lot of times.
And I think that's what's so important, so that their brain is able to be activated and to work the right way.
And the real point here is we've got to look at the benefits of an action and look at the clear consequences. If we overshoot it too far, we're, I think, a little too far shooting, but that's okay because we want to err on the side of safety. We can always pull back, but if we pull back everything, we grind to a halt, and then nothing works, including our hospitals, and that's the Achilles tendon of our defense.
So we had the mayor on earlier today, and we asked him every rumor that was out there to put it to rest, because people were like, calling Lori and I last night, you guys know, are they shutting down the city?
Right.
Well, there have been major changes and closures in the city, and they continue to try to do that to stop the spread of the coronavirus.
So as you said, the mayor stopped by Good Day earlier this morning. He told us, unfortunately, things are likely to get worse before they get better.
It's going to be a long battle. So this is nothing I'm saying is to minimize the danger. People are going to suffer. We're going to lose some people. There's no question. I say that with pain. But the truth is also, New Yorkers can handle it, and this city is better prepared than any place else on earth. And the fact is, it will be a long battle. We predict 6 months.
6 months.
We predict that at this moment.
In these kind of draconian, with these kind of
Not
draconian
necessarily.
measures.
6 months till we are able to say that the crisis is receding. It does not mean the same measures will be throughout.
Next week, though, you predict 1,000 cases.
I do, and I want to be...
And you think we have the staff, we have the support, we have the space, if God forbid it starts to
And
balloon.
let me tell you the math, because it's important to understand that. I want to be sober and clear with New Yorkers about what we're seeing. I think that could be the number next week. We don't have a crystal ball, but I think the trajectory says that. So if you take what we're seeing absolutely consistently, Lori, 80% have very mild experience. So much so, Lori, that the medical advice is to go home, even with a designation, even knowing you have contracted it. If you don't have those pre-existing conditions and you're not older, go home, take the precautions, the self-quarantine, do what you would normally do to treat such a situation like cold or flu, and come out the other side normal. But for the more serious cases, that's about 20%. A number of them will be hospitalized, not necessarily all, but a number will be. Some will need very intensive support. But if you take that 1,000, that's 200 people who would have to get some kind of hospital support. Given the vast size of our hospital system, yes, we can handle that. We can handle a lot more than that. If it gets to the point where we have to take extraordinary measures, our CEO of our health and hospital system made very clear. He can expand ICU capacity greatly. They can set up brand new ICUs in their hospitals and around their hospitals. They can literally build them. They can put them in tents if they have to.
What do you think?
Yeah, and Doc, also he said basically that we're in better shape than China and Italy were. He said they did nothing for weeks and weeks and weeks. So,
and Italy's paying the price now with a mortality rate that is twice what China experienced. China didn't know it was hitting them, but when they did finally figure it out, they quarantined 60 million people, never before done in human history, and probably bought us precious weeks, as the mayor also outlined in his discussions. Your questions were fantastic, by the way, very probing, because it actually addressed the issues. But without those 5 weeks, we would be in difficult shape. One point that he pointed out that he made was that 20% of people have complications. Part of the reason I think we're going to do really well with this virus is because we're starting to find solutions at treating people who are the sickest. So they won't die anymore. They'll be sick, they'll be in the ICU, but they won't die. When those people start surviving, the mortality rate was going to plummet. And then the fear we have of not treating this aggressively goes away, and then all of a sudden we loosen up a little bit so we don't have those measures that we've been worried about.
I did see something that Italy, though, even though they're behind 8 ball, they have more physicians than we do. Is that correct?
They have more physicians, but there's a reason for that. 90% of physicians in Italy don't practice medicine.
what do they practice?
They do other things in life. It's like lawyers in America. A lot of people go to law school because they think it's a great education, but they don't actually practice law in courtrooms and, you know, trying to get people convicted in prisons. They just practice different kinds of law. And in Europe, because education is free, you'll go get a medical education and go off and do something very different. Go do business, for example. The issue isn't the doctors. You need healthy doctors and nurses. You need enough ventilators. You need enough ICU beds. Just the things the mayor was pointing out. So, for example, keeping the schools open means you have nurses at work. Making sure doctors aren't sick because you have the right kinds of masks to protect them are important. And then you need to make sure that if you have a crisis, that you can expand a little bit. But the best way to deal with this and keep our healthcare system healthy is to let people slowly enter it. If you have a huge bolus of not 1,000 next week, but 10,000 next week, I'm at Columbia University. I'm proud of New York Presbyterian Hospital. It's going to tax any institution to have that massive inflow of people.
So speaking of schools.
All right, despite things across the city being shut down, most New York City schools, public schools, remain open.
Earlier on Good Day New York, and New York City Schools Chancellor Richard Carranza told us that they want to keep the schools open, but preparations are underway in event that they do have to close.
This is 1.1 million students. When you think about all the caregivers, and if kids are out of school, what happens to them? You know, not all parents have paid leave, so it's a last resort for us. That doesn't mean, though, that if circumstances warrant, that we won't go there. We've actually tabletopped this. We've practiced scenarios. We have a comprehensive plan ready to go. Full 80% of the students in New York City public schools are classified as living in poverty, so not everybody has internet connection. So it's more than just online. We also have to have some paper-based products and curricula. It's also web and cloud-based, so that, you know, students can access that on their smartphones if they have a smartphone. Working with our libraries so that they have access to internet there as well.
A lot of concerns. And yesterday, another big concern was the city going to shut down mass transit? Everybody was in a panic.
That's right. And those who aren't quarantined have to get to work. But is it safe to take the subway or the buses? And is there a chance the city could actually shut down mass transit as a precautionary? So we spoke with the chairman, Pat Foy, the MTA. Here's what he told us.
Actually, Wednesday, ridership was down about 18%. Having said that, we carried 4 million people safely. The subway system, the bus system, and the commuter rails are safe. We have increased substantially the frequency and intensity of disinfecting the station.
Ooh, it just seems like that's like a massive hub for you to catch everything, you know, between the rails and touching the seat and everything.
But less people are using it, so.
Let's start using it. We talked backstage about how you actually keep the subways clean, because the virus lives for up to 2 days on those inanimate objects, the poles, the seats that you're sitting on. So I think you ought to wear gloves. And I was offering to the to folks the concept that maybe we just want to give those gloves away. It's hard to do. But if nothing else, bring your own gloves. Take them off as soon as you get off the subway.
Because people reuse the gloves, and that's a bad thing, right?
Worthless. There's no point that you destroy the whole. You're better off just getting off and washing your hands. But there's no way to get off a piece of public transportation without washing your hands, or at least using some protection while you're on them.
All right, we're taking your questions. Go to Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. Let us know what's on your mind.
And in addition, we've also brought on a panel of experts that are monitoring our Facebook page.
If you have any questions for us, feel free. Head over to Fox 5 NY Facebook page. It's Fox 5 NY Facebook page right now. We'll be checking in with our panel of experts. We have Dr. Michael Krupin in. He's medical director of the Dr. Oz Show. We're going to talk about maybe some things we can do to prevent, right? Yep. Maybe some foods.
Well, Dr. Krupin not only is a doctor, he studied school. He went to School of Public Health at Johns Hopkins, and he was at Consumer Reports. So he knows how to cut through all the BS. I'm hearing all these tales told online now about things that work. This is what really works to keep you healthy.
Good. Also, we're going to talk with New York City neuropsychologist Dr. Sanam Hafiz. A lot of us are worried sick.
Oh, the anxiety level is so high. All right. And also coming up on this special edition on Good Day New York.
We're going to speak with the man who was diagnosed with the coronavirus almost a month ago. We talked to him 2 weeks ago.
Carl Goldman.
He's still in quarantine, but he feels fine. We're going to talk to him about his journey when Good Day comes back.
Feels fine, but the numbers aren't.
Welcome back to our special edition of Good Day New York. There's a lot of information going around about how to prevent the spread of the coronavirus.
So one of the more visible ways that you've probably seen everywhere are masks and gloves, but do they actually help? And are you even using them the correct way? Dr. Oz here with a little show and tell to make sure we are using them the right way.
All right, so a lot of these masks are around. These are surgical masks. I wear these in the operating room right now. They're designed to make sure I don't cough in the wound. So when I put this on and I was speaking, I don't have little bits of sputum going into the wound and infecting the person. It doesn't protect me at all, and it won't protect you at all either. So you can wear these for looks, but you're not doing anything for you. Now, this mask is called the N95 mask. It looks a little different. It's got a little nose area here. There's 2 straps on it, and this does work, but for it to work, it actually has to be fitted to your head, because not all the masks are the same size. If you have facial hair, forget about it.
Oh, yeah.
So you put on the front part, the top goes on.
Oops.
Sorry.
You messed up your hair, but I like
it. It's okay. It's a new look. It looks like this. A strap on the bottom, a strap on the top. You'll notice on both sides.
Right.
It sticks to your face all the way around. If it doesn't stick to your face, then you're not going to have a benefit. And you also need to push down on the nose to make sure that it completely contours as best as possible.
But if you're touching the mask so much, are you then also, you're rearranging, you pull it down, you put it back up?
No, once it's on, you're done. You don't touch it again. And in the hospital, they actually have a device, a big hood we go into, and they squirt little smells into it, so we can actually tell if little odors get around the edges of this mask into your face. Because if they do, it's the wrong mask for you. And some people have to have different kinds of masks. But these, we desperately need in hospitals.
Okay, so we shouldn't just buy them out because
Please
you guys
don't.
need them.
We have 1/10 of the masks we need, and these masks are difficult to get. So besides the fact that they're sold at ridiculous, exorbitant prices now, allow them to live in the healthcare system so our doctors and nurses can take care of it. On that point, I had the Surgeon General on the show this week, and I wanted to have everyone listen to what he was saying about basic approaches. So let's play that little clip.
But the most important thing for people to know is 80% of people out there who get the coronavirus won't need medical attention. 80%. The majority of people who get it, 98, some say 99%, are going to fully recover. And the folks who are going to have problems, we know who they are. We need to protect them. If you are a senior, if you have chronic medical conditions, those are the folks we want to make sure we are helping avoid large crowds, and that we're especially making sure that they're not being exposed to younger people who don't wash their hands frequently. They can be exposing grandma to not just coronavirus, but flu. 20,000 people have died from the flu in this country this year.
We're not talking about the flu, right? What happened? Because I thought that was the problem.
Well, I always argue that if your mortality rate from this coronavirus is close to the flu, then you shouldn't have a big deal with it, because we can't even get people to get immunizations against the flu. No one's worried about it. It doesn't affect your day-to-day life, but it does prove to be deadly many times. Now, when the Surgeon General, I thought he spoke so openly, and that's what I love is happening now. People just start telling the truth. They stop playing politics. So Dr. Adams spoke very openly about what his real fears are. When he points out the importance of social distancing, what he's basically saying is this virus lives too long. That's what makes it contagious. And in particular, we have brand new data now Dr. Ian Lipkin was the famous virus hunter. He's the character in the movie Contagion. So he was actually the advisor in that movie. He's up at Columbia with me, and he was one of the first people to go to China. And he was actually quarantined when he got back because of this.
Did he get the virus?
He didn't get it, but what he did learn, first of all, he helped sequence the virus. It's one of the reasons we understand that this virus was not made in a lab. It was not made by men to hurt other men. This is a completely
conspiracy theory.
Not true. And he debunked a lot of these myths because he actually helped sequence the virus.
Did he say anything about food? I mean, you know, there was talk about that it happened in Wuhan, China, and they were killing all sorts of animals for food.
He believes it happened in a wet market in Wuhan, China, where a coronavirus that was, or maybe in one of the workers there, because it causes sore throats, met up with a coronavirus from a bat, or an animal that was bitten by a bat. Those two viruses made a baby that was a little bit of each that we don't recognize. It's so different that we can't identify that it's a virus, and it sneaks into us because it's so extra contagious. But what Dr. Lipkin pointed out was brand new data, I'm just announcing it here, that this virus can live for 2 days on hard objects like tabletops and the like, and for about a day on cardboard. It probably lives on cash, on paper as well. Take a look at what he said. We now know how long a virus that I were to cough on this table here would last. How many days, how many hours?
Yeah, so Vincent Munster and a team at NIH and Rocky Mountain Labs in Hamilton, Montana, have recently completed a study. We hope those data will be publicly available soon in an actual scientific article. But their data suggests that it can last for at least 48 hours on plastic or metal.
40 to 2 days, you're at risk if someone touched it.
Just wipe it down again.
But the implications for public transportation
are
present. What about going to a stadium? I mean, how do you keep that clean? That's why we have to shut down these public areas. When the state of New York says no groups more than 500, in California now it's 250, that's why. Because it's not about who was just there or the person next to you. It was who sat in this seat yesterday or the day before, and that changes the equation.
Well, let's hope these draconian measures will shut down the virus faster than we're seeing in China and Italy. Anyway, we want to check in now with someone who has the coronavirus. We talked to him last week. His name is Carl Goldman. He's still in isolation at a hospital in Omaha, Nebraska.
So Carl was aboard the Diamond Princess cruise ship last month when he contracted the virus. He's joining us now from his hospital room. Carl, good morning. The last time we spoke to you, you were in the hospital room, and so much hope that you were going to get out, but your numbers are not indicating that you are free of the coronavirus.
Exactly. My body is not ready to shed completely yet.
So what happened exactly? Because walk us through again the treatment you've had to have, because they checked your entire body for this, right?
Absolutely. My wife and I had started on a cruise on the Diamond Princess. 15 days into our 16-day cruise, the virus broke out, and we were all quarantined on the ship for 14 days. On the 12th day, we were flown back to the States. I had a pre-existing condition called Guillain-Barré syndrome, along with being 67 years old, and even though I'm in good health, they decided I was definitely at risk. So it brought me to Omaha, put me in a bio-containment unit for 10 days, which was like a scene out of the Andromeda strain. And now I've been put into a lower level of care, also here at Nebraska Medicine in Omaha. That's more like a cross between a hospital room and a hotel room. But I can't leave the room, can't even open the window. It's double sealed. And so I walk the floors, getting my 10,000 steps in, but it's 14 steps until I hit the wall.
Carl, you know, I hear that they're taking very good care of you, but I heard the examinations, well, they're a little interesting. You want to tell us about some of your examinations, Carl?
Of course, I'll be happy to share. So we get swabs done that go up our nose for 5 seconds, each nostril, and then down the throat. That's challenging enough because I've had many of those now. But I'm also I volunteered for a clinical study, so they've added to my swabs, and I'm getting one under each eyelid for 5 seconds, and then one up my rear end. So I'm taking one for the team here.
So what are they trying to, what experiment are they doing? What are they trying to find the answers to? Another ailment?
No, there are a couple of things they're doing. One, what they're doing with it, and they're swabbing also everything I touch from my phone to my computer. They're doing blood tests. They're also put an air collector inside the room to see. They're trying to learn how the virus travels, both outside the body and inside my body. And so that's what they're doing with that test.
But the bottom line, Carl, is how do you feel? Do you feel sick?
No, I feel fine. As I've said before, other than the high fever, and I did get a dry cough that lasted for quite a while, just disappeared a couple days ago. A little shortness of breath those first 3, 4, 5 days. But other than that, if I wasn't contagious, I would have been at work 48 hours after I had the high fever.
Will they test you again today, Carl?
No, I got tested yesterday. I can't because my doctor, I prescribed my doctor in a daily journal I've been writing on our website, hometownstation.com. I've been describing him as the Grim Reaper knocking on my door. And as high-tech as they are here at Nebraska Medicine, with everything's very high-tech, they hand my results over on a yellow Post-it note.
Wow.
So I kid about that, but the last Post-it note last night was positive also, and so now I have to wait 48 hours, so till tomorrow morning where they do another test. Then I have to have 3 negative tests in a row to get out of here. Now, one of the interesting things, another study they're doing is because I'm not alone in this. I've had now 7 Post-it notes, so that's 14 days of when I should have been free of the virus, and I'm not. But I'm not alone. We have others here in Nebraska, and then a bunch of us who also came from the Diamond Princess are over in Texas and California. They're also experiencing the same thing.
Well, Carl,
so what they're going to do...
We just hope that the next time we talk to you, that you're going to be out of the hospital,
on your way home
with your wife.
And you don't have to take any more for the team.
Right.
You know what I mean? Carl, all the best. We're praying for you, Carl.
6
Dr.
weeks. That could be the norm.
It might be the norm. It's scary, but we learned a lot from his case and others, and that's the kind of information that informs us. We can give better advice to everybody.
All right, coming up, washing hands.
We're going to have a demonstration. There is a right way. There's a better way. We're going to show you.
Welcome back to our special edition of Good Day New York. Dr. Oz is in the house. We have other doctors in the house. Dr. Krupe. Maybe we should get a few questions from Dr. Krupe and Dr. Hafiz.
Hafiz, yes. Do you have any questions?
What are people saying to you, Dr. Krupe? Give us a question that they're asking
Mike
you.
Krupe's got lots of things there. Go ahead.
So we have actually lots of great questions coming in on our Facebook page. So one's from Debbie. There's a lot of people asking about shots, right? So she said, if I get the pneumonia shot, will it help protect me from all the coronavirus pneumonias? And the answer really is that the pneumonia vaccine is designed to help you prevent bacterial pneumonia. It's designed to work against certain types of bacteria, but not the coronavirus. So it won't protect you from the coronavirus, but if you do get the coronavirus, it'll protect you from getting a bacterial pneumonia, which is a good thing. And it's meant for people over 65, and so if you're in that group, you're at high risk, you should be taking extra precautions anyway.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Krupain.
And we'll talk to Dr. Hafiz in a second because people are worried sick over this. And washing your hands, the most effective way to fight the coronavirus.
But are you washing your hands correctly? So here's a step-by-step guide, courtesy of Dr. Roz. All right.
First of all, surgeons wash their hands, and we're taught to do it in a way that's effective. So we're all going to do it together. So get some water on your hands.
Okay.
Once you get water on your hands, you just turn that off. And you need a little bit of soap. Now, here's the technique. Go ahead and get some soap on there.
Do you want to use bar soap or soap that's in the
you're okay with either one because it's not sterile here, it's not sterile there. But once it's on your hands, you're going to mix it. So you go above and under like this, spread it out. Now, that part you probably do. The part you might not do is it's the fingertips. You got 20 seconds to do this. So do the Turkish twist. The fingers are not being rubbed within your palm. And then get the individual thumbs because they're the opposing digit that you'll most often touch.
By the way, I never did something like this.
And then grease the palm. Get the tip of the fingers. Greasing the palm, first one side for 5 seconds, then the other side. Now, you're going to sing Happy Birthday at least once, hopefully twice, 20 seconds worth of washing. Once you're done with that, this is critical. The fingertips are clean. Use the back of your hand. Get the sink back open again. All right? You guys do it as well. And then, whatever towel you use, you guys use real towels, don't use paper towels. It's not coronavirus, it's just water. So you wipe your hands up, but notice you don't touch anything here anymore. The biggest mistake you make is to touch the sink, any part of it, or the door as you exit the bathroom or the room that you're in. Use the towel to do that, and then drop it there. If it's at home, obviously you can use the door's going to be open anyway. And that technique is what we use as we enter the operating room. It'll help keep your fingers clean. This by itself, 50% reduction in virus transmission if you do it correctly, to the best of our knowledge.
That is incredible.
It's a DIY vaccine.
All right, Doc, we're going to continue answering your questions right now.
Yeah, we're going to check in, of course, with our other doctor, and also Ryan Christopher is out in Times Square finding out what folks are thinking who are walking by. They have some questions as well.
Hey, good morning there, ladies. Yeah, we're here on Broadway, and it's interesting. We have the Richard Rogers Theater just behind us, and then the theater where Tina has been playing right here. There's a gentleman that's cleaning the inside as the announcement was just made yesterday that Broadway is going to be shut down, and we were able to hit the streets and chat with some folks right here in the city. One guy in particular who spends a lot of time traveling the city, and we're going to talk to him coming up next.
Welcome back to this Good Day New York special with Dr. Oz. As you know, a lot of people are scared, a lot of misinformation out there about the coronavirus.
So we've been asking your questions, of course, through Facebook. And we also sent Ryan Christopher out to Times Square to find out what other questions people might have. Ryan?
Good morning there, ladies. Yeah, we were able to talk to some folks here in the city. One guy in particular who spends a lot of time in a vehicle and also helps transport other people around the city.
Hi, Dr. Oz. I am a New York City yellow taxi driver. I am worried about passenger. Passenger also worry about cab. What is your suggestion for that cab drivers and passenger? Can you give us the suggestion, please?
I tell you, this is all about social distancing. You just don't touch the passenger, they don't touch you, you don't touch the same cards. You keep that little window closed. And I think that's not just true if you got a new passenger in the back of your car. You just don't know where they've been. They don't know where you've been, and you don't want to touch the stuff that's there. I would go back there and clean that at least once a day, like the MTAs clean their subways to help other passengers. But do not touch things that you are not familiar with. It's the best way to prevent this process. Again, we're talking about a couple weeks. It's not for the rest of your life, but it's a wise move.
All right, Ryan, what other questions do they have?
All right, well, it's chilly out today. Obviously, it's no time for the beach, but one gentleman was interested about indoor swimming.
Good afternoon. My name is Denton Omar Williams. Dr. Oz, I just want to know if we could get coronavirus and swimming in a pool.
Well, thankfully, the pool has chlorine or a chlorine-based solution, so that we believe will knock out the coronavirus. The problem is you don't know about the locker. You don't know about the rooms that let it out to the pool, the common areas where, because you're in a bathing suit, you're going to be having a lot of potential bodily secretion. So I don't think swimming is the best move right now. I'd probably take a little step back.
I had someone ask me about the nail salon and getting their hair done and if they're in any danger.
I think they are. I don't want to shut these industries down. If you're at low risk, go do them, but you're definitely at risk.
What are we going to do?
No, you can, because you're at low risk.
Yeah.
The question was, are you at danger? Yes, but it doesn't mean you shouldn't do it. We're weighing off pros and cons. So I wouldn't go from the hair salon and my nails to my grandmother. As long as it's just you. But if either of you, the people that you're seeing generally are going to do just fine with the vaccine. But you don't want to have people willy-nilly, without recognizing the potential risk, go say, I love you to someone you care about, and inadvertently contaminate them in a way that would make it very hard for them to recover.
Gotcha.
That's the cautionary note.
All right, listen, there's so much more information we need to get to. If you have to leave, you don't want to miss this. We have our special going on for another few minutes. You can take us with us. You can take us with you by downloading our Fox 5 NY News app.
Just stream Good Day and never miss a moment of our show or this special. Search Fox 5 NY in your app store. Download it today. All right, the virus has changed how the city operates in a huge way.
With all the cancellations and restaurants taking a huge hit as people avoid crowded areas. Bianca Peters, Kerry Drew on the case this morning. They're washing up.
Yes.
And
Like
they're going
surgeons.
to
They look like surgeons.
do the Turkish twist.
Isn't this?
Good. They are breaking down the effect for us. They're over there by the sink getting ready for us.
Good.
Welcome back to our coronavirus special. Of course, you've been sending us your questions. We appreciate your concerns about COVID-19. So we have a panel of doctors answering your questions. We want to check in with them.
All right, Dr. Hafiz, tell us what someone has written to you this morning.
So Lina wants to know, what does toilet paper shortage have to do with coronavirus?
Very funny.
Nothing. The answer is nothing. It has nothing to do with the coronavirus. The thing is, you know, people tend to shut down in times of crises. We have a natural tendency to protect, to survive. It's almost like, you know, this parasympathetic system that goes into effect, this fight and flight response. So I think people are just panicking because there is so much uncertainty around this. There isn't enough knowledge. It's such a fluid situation. You wake up one morning and things have changed. So I think people are just doing whatever they can. And you know, when you panic, you don't make the best decisions.
Dr.
They think of being quarantined also.
Yeah.
You know, not
they have
getting
everything
out.
at home. Thank you so much. We're going to talk to you.
Doctor.
We'll maybe talk about some things we can do to kind of alleviate that stress. But we have our ladies of the early morning, Kerry Drew, Bianca Peters here. You know, while some businesses are doing well, like, for example, the supermarket was crazy yesterday.
Yeah.
The pharmacy was crazy yesterday. But restaurants, not so crazy, Kerry.
Yeah, it's having a profound impact, isn't it?
Restaurants are really suffering because it's that whole social distancing thing. People are really taking that to heart and staying home and cooking their meals at home as opposed to going out to restaurants. But they're really taking a hit, especially in New York City restaurants. I met up with Jeremy Marin. He owns Havana Central, which is right in the heart of Times Square. They get a lot of business from Broadway and from people who work in that area. Well, people aren't working right now and people aren't going to Broadway anymore.
Right.
So I talked to him about it. He said business is really struggling. Take a look.
We're terrified. Sales are down almost 30%. Yesterday it was down over 30%. And we don't know what the future holds. We think the people are just going to stop going out. We have to figure out what to do about our staffing, what to do about our cash flow. You know, it's terrifying.
How do you prepare for something like this? What kind of preparations are underway now in the event that this just gets progressively worse?
Well, we've already spoken to our landlords. We're talking about reducing our expenses. The whole idea now is to preserve cash cash so we can stay in business. But as our business decreases, we're going to have to sort of close down and make our business smaller so we can afford to stay alive.
How does it look today as compared to, let's say, 1 month ago?
Well, this restaurant would have been full 3 weeks ago.
Wow.
But every week we're seeing a decline in sales, and for some reason I think we've hit the tipping point. I'm on the board of the New York State Restaurant Association. We just had a meeting a couple of days ago about this. The truth of the matter is that the upstate New York is not being hit quite as bad yet, but New York City is, especially Manhattan, is getting decimated. So everybody I know has, for instance, we've lost, between the last week and a half, we've lost over $100,000 in event business. Basically, the entire event and catering business is dried up. The one area that we're doing better in than before was our delivery business and our off-premise catering business. So there, people still feel secure. I mean, everybody still has to eat. So we're delivering more. We're individually packing things so that people feel safe, that they're not having to share either food or implements or utensils. And we're doing whatever we can to make the guest feel secure about that. So we're hoping that people continue to order in, but we're terrified.
And some restaurants have actually already been forced to shut down because of a lack of customers. Jingfang, which is the city's largest Chinese restaurant in Chinatown, has closed its doors for now. The restaurant's marketing director telling the New York Post this morning that it does hope to reopen at a later date. Also, we want to mention the New York State Restaurant Association, which represents restaurant owners, has written a letter to Governor Cuomo. They're asking for financial support.
Jeez.
They're really, really struggling right now.
Not a good time.
All right, so Bianca, the other issues, so many things have been canceled, so many events, right? Every day.
Every single day, especially, you know, doing a story yesterday compared to leaving and finding out more information yesterday. We had to update it. So every day, as you can see on social media, a new event is being put on hold or being canceled to slow and prevent the spread of coronavirus. So just yesterday, Broadway shutting down their doors for at least a month. We sat down with Crane's Business Insider to get more information on why keeping these events on schedule could potentially be a PR nightmare.
The NBA canceled. South by Southwest canceled. Coachella postponed. And Pearl Jam's North American tour postponed.
What we're seeing is that you know, individuals that are running these events and creating these events do not want to put people at risk. They don't want to be the brand that people got really sick at. They don't want to be the concert, the event that people all got coronavirus, because that, from a business perspective, would also be really hard to erase from their reputation.
Christine Haney at Crane's New York says the public perception of these branded events is everything. And while many people are receiving refunds, some like Ultra Music Festival and South by Southwest are not.
I do think that when you have a time of crisis, nobody forgets the name of the brand who didn't reimburse them, who didn't pay them back, the brand that didn't act properly. It always comes back to kind of haunt businesses, and there's always someone who will remember this moment.
And reimbursement may not always mean a full refund.
People should be aware that they might get the ticket reimbursed, but then the question is, will they get the booking fee reimbursed? Will they get the postage of getting actually paper tickets sent to them? There's so many different variables that they could get part of it reimbursed, but not the entire ticket.
Best advice, people should read the fine print and leave a paper trail.
They also should put everything in writing and keep a real paper trail so that if they do need to be reimbursed, they can say who didn't work with them, who did work with them, and really have everything documented.
Yeah, the best advice is to get on the phone, talk to someone about their policies concerning coronavirus, because you see that this is changing every single day. It's such a fluid situation.
Yeah,
Good
these big
information.
events.
Yeah.
You know.
Thank you so much.
Thank you,
all right,
ladies.
we've talked about all the things you can do to help protect yourself from the virus.
So one of those is eating the right foods. Dr. Michael Coupain is going to show us the right foods.
Welcome back. As the coronavirus outbreak continues to escalate, so does anxiety and worry. And are there things you can do, maybe things you can eat to support your immune system?
So joining us, we have Dr. Michael Coupain, who's the medical director of Dr. Oz Show, and also the author of What to Eat When a Strategic Plan to Improve Your Health and Life Through Food. Doctor, we see all this good stuff. This is going to help us to be able to fight off the coronavirus.
Well, that's right. There's a lot of things you can do to make your immune system stronger, like sleeping better and exercising, but food is probably the best thing you can do. We've got lots of great things you should be eating now to
Vitamin
get ready.
C.
Vitamin C-rich foods are a great choice. Broccoli on this plate actually has more vitamin C than anything else. Most
Wow.
people think it's the oranges,
Wow.
but broccoli has 3 times more vitamin C than oranges.
How much vitamin C?
You can start with just getting how much is in broccoli. There's 153
Well, no,
milligrams
how
in
much
a
should
serving.
we eat of it?
You can
You can overdose.
I threw away Google. He knows everything.
You can start with 200 milligrams. That's fine, or you can go up. You can't really be hurt by taking vitamin C.
Okay, and the nuts.
These are loaded with zinc. We don't think about zinc a lot, but it really supports our immune system and protects our immune cells when they're fighting bacteria and viruses.
Okay.
It also can inhibit viruses, which is really great. Pumpkin seeds, peanuts, cashews, and beans are loaded with zinc.
All right,
Okay,
what
wonderful.
about salmon? We know that's always fantastic.
So these are, well, salmon is what we recommend for just about everything,
Yeah.
but it's also loaded with vitamin D. And vitamin D can support your immune system, so you want to be eating salmon and yogurt. Also, dairy foods have vitamin D as
Our
well.
garlic, our ginger, and chicken soup.
So chicken soup is sort of a home remedy for a cold, right? So chicken soup actually won't prevent you from getting sick, but these anti-inflammatory foods like garlic and ginger are great choices and good to add to your soup.
And shrooms.
Mushrooms are a part of Chinese traditional medicine, right? They're also loaded with something called beta-glucan, and that's been shown to help prevent respiratory infections. So eating mushrooms is a good choice.
And Dr. Oz, you had given us that one sheet last week. There's supplements you can also take.
Right, so Mike, Dr. Krupa and I work together to make that sheet so I give to our family and friends, but it's the basic things. Vitamin D right now, prophylactically, if you get sick, it's zinc, beta-glucan like the mushrooms have, vitamin C like in citrus. So you can eat it or you can take it as a supplement. Do both, and I have all the specifics, exactly how many milligrams on that, which you will put up on the Fox 5 news site.
Beautiful.
All right,
We'll be right back, Dr. Oz. Are you scared? Are you worried? Are you not sleeping? You're not alone.
You're talking to yourself.
I know, you're not alone. You're looking at her.
We have psychologist Dr. Sanam Hafiz is joining us. You know, I'm sure you've had patients come to you scared to death because we don't know what to think. How can you help us with anxiety?
So I think one of the key components of this is follow the science and listen to the outlets that are proven, like CDC or the World Health Organization, because there's so much information on social media and it's confusing, and there's news every single day that keeps changing. And of course it feeds anxiety, but anxiety is not necessarily a bad thing if you can control it, right? A little bit of anxiety leads to action and preparedness.
I've been trying to do my meditation to calm me down, Dr. Oz.
Thank you.
It helps every now and then. But when do you know that you really have a problem and need to seek attention? Help.
Yeah, if you're isolating, if you are panicking 24/7, this is all you're thinking about, you have palpitations, you can't cook, you can't do simple activities like take care of your children or, whatever else your responsibilities are, that's a problem.
And this panic buying we see, that's part of it, right?
Absolutely. It's this fear that is making us think that we're doing something about this, when really, cleaning out the shelves is not really being prepared. Being prepared is making sure you have the necessities, making sure that the people that you love are safe and that they can access you can access them, and that you're washing your hands and doing all the things that the good doctor's been recommending.
Great advice. Thank you so much, Dr. Hafiz. Dr. Oz, don't go anywhere.
We'll be
We're
right
coming
back.
right back.
The hour to coronavirus, but want you to know that we also have a new resource available for extended information regarding the outbreak.
It's called coronavirusnow.com. It was created by Fox. It offers daily content from health officials, breaking news from around our area and across the country. All right, Dr. Oz, last minute thoughts. What about our pets?
The best data we have is your pets are fine. I know they're mammals. It's theoretically possible.
Can they pass the virus on to you?
I don't believe so. It's not been shown ever. And the best part is you need pets to deal with the anxiety we were speaking about earlier.
Oh, they calm you down. All right, once again, thank you to Dr. Krupain and Dr. Hafiz, our panel there. We really appreciate it.
And Dr. Oz, who got us through this hour. Man, oh, man.
We covered a lot of territory.
We did.
Thank you, Dr. Oz.
God bless you. Own it, guys. We can do it.
And Dr. Oz Show, don't forget, airs weekdays at 1 o'clock right here on Fox.